I want to hand over to Suraha, who is going to take the reins from this point. And yeah, I'm just really excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm mute. No. I'm really excited to chat about mental well-being and art with Vanessa, particularly because I met Vanessa because I needed to get headshots done, and I'm a very anxious person. I don't like people to take my picture. And I saw Vanessa like tweeting about like mental health and stuff, and I was like, this seems like my kind of person. I feel like this person can take pictures of me and I won't cry. And so we met up, genuinely just the most amazing, hugely talented human. And I just found out recently Vanessa also writes poetry. So it's really good. Don't even lie. It's really good. So I guess I'd be interested. I suppose, like Vanessa, would you say your main medium is photography? I call you an all-around artist because you do quite a huge range of things.
I call myself, and have done for years, a wee girl with a camera who just wings it and hopes for the best. Um, I think my main bag is photography. I love it so much. I only really like I would write in school, um, but it was whenever I was doing my book. I did a book the year after the Zone In exhibition, and I wanted to write just a little piece that sort of explained what each series of pictures was. And then whenever I released it, and people were like, "Okay, so Belfast-based poet and photographer," I was like, "What? No, bitch, no." But I think I just like doing whatever. Like I can't draw, but I love just messing around with paints and colors. I think I just like colors and nonsense. Um, so no, I don't. I think it's still a bit weird even hearing myself referred to as an artist. I'm like, girl, I
Yeah.
have an Instagram account. Like,
You're just like,
let's take it easy.
You're like, who are you talking about? Is it this
No.
person? But I think that's a very common thing for people who suffer from mental health, I think, or not even suffer. I hate using that word. I keep trying to come up with more fun ways of talking about it. Whose brain is a little bit like, yeah, that's what we're gonna go like this. Which is like it's you do get the sense of like, can you call yourself this? Can you call yourself that? And it sort of impacts your process. I think that I would really agree that you sort of have to come at it from like, it's fun, I'm messing, I'm just trying, it's like, but I guess I think that might be really cool to hear about like how you take ideas, especially with the Zone In exhibition. I read your like artist statement on it, and there's a great website which I should have posted in. Actually, I'll get the link to it. I'll post it in. That is um, with your artist statement. And I guess I was sort of interested if you could talk about the initial idea and taking it through to that A4 Signs exhibition, which was so fantastically received as well.
It was a lot more successful than I thought it was going to be, and we raised a lot more money than I thought we would, which is humbling and fantastic. But basically, I had, when I say for years, I mean like for 20 years, suffered from really chronic and really like debilitating daydreaming. And I didn't know that it was like a disorder, if you like, until I was probably about 25 or so, and saw someone had written up something about maladaptive daydreaming, and I was reading through the list of causes, stressors, symptoms, whatever, and I was like, oh, check every single one of these boxes. Oh, here we go. But it was like to the point where my work would be impacted. My social life was pretty much non-existent. If I had an invitation to a party, it would be like, you can go to the party and people are going to laugh at you. They're going to make fun of you. You're going to look stupid. You're going to say the wrong thing. Or you can stay in the house and daydream the life of this character where everything is going to go right because you control the narrative. So I would just stay in the house. full time. Like I would spend a whole weekend being this character in this particular scenario, doing whatever, and just turn down invitations, not answer calls, not reply to texts, because you can't mess up the daydream. And I did that from I was about 7 or 8, until I actually I went on antidepressants when I was about 27, 28, for sort of an unrelated thing. I mean, they probably go hand in hand like this. But I finally went to therapy and went on antidepressants. And after about 3 or 4 months, I found that I was able to withdraw from the daydreams in a way that I absolutely physically never could before. And I was like, am I just thinking as Vanessa and not as this made up character? It's like, it's very weird. Oh, do I have like time to be myself and think about what it is that I actually want to do and not what needs to happen to revolve around made up nonsense? And so after that, I started to sketch out ideas for basically like I guess a farewell to this daydream reality that I had constructed before. And one of the big things with maladaptive daydreaming is that it's usually triggered by music. So in order for me to act out a particular scene, there needs to be a particular song or like a tempo or maybe certain types of instruments or whatever it is that will help me to, it's kind of like theme music in a movie, but just full time, all the time. So I just chose 10 songs, like sort of at random. Like I wanted there to be different situations or different scenarios, or this is the music that played whenever I won all those Oscars, or this is the music that played whenever like I got married to Jake Gyllenhaal or whatever the hell. So I chose these 10 songs and I wanted there to be 10 different faces. I didn't want them to, I was thinking originally they would all be self-portraits, but then I was like, because I'm in therapy and I'm on antidepressants and the daydreaming stopped, I've actually been able to go out and make friends for the first time. Like even when I was in school, I didn't have many friends. I would just circle the playground by myself, just daydreaming, instead of playing with the other kids. I was really like withdrawn that way. So I was like, no, I'm gonna do different people, and then that means that I have to go out and talk to people, and I might even make a friend. It's gonna be this is gonna be great. So that was how we did it. Each song, one person, and one sort of scene that I thought sort of represented or like how the song looks in my head. And then when we did the exhibition, it was for raising money for the Dublin Rape Crisis Centre, and loads of people came and gave us money, and it was cracker. That's pretty much the background, I think.
Yeah. But it's a really arresting exhibition, and it was like with the multimedia aspect. Whenever I was like, I was going through the songs and stuff, and I was like, God, more exhibitions should have a Spotify playlist.
Yeah, it was kind of a funny one. Like we played the playlist in the exhibition itself, and the songs were mixed in with a whole load of other stuff. But all of the songs from the playlist were songs from my my imaginary double life or whatever it was. So I was kind of like, if the song was on playing, I'd be like, I wonder if anyone can guess that this is one of the songs, or if they can guess which one it is.
Yeah,
it was nice. It was fun.
That's so. I think what you're saying is so true. People are so. I think there's so much demonization of antidepressants. I'm a huge proponent of like getting help when you need help. Prozac kid since 2012. Because I find in university especially, like people were just, or just even in secondary school, like that was such a dirty, like people were very like not like willing to appreciate that, there's different aspects of mental health care, and that therapy and antidepressants go in hand, and like all of it together. And I think what's really interesting is you managed to create out of all of that, you managed to create things. And I wonder, I guess I was going to ask, especially in lockdown, I love asking about how creating things makes you feel. Like I love asking people that. like like you know, how does this emotionally make me feel? Does it make you feel like, yeah, like this is hilarious, or like a little bit like, ooh, am I doing this, or are you just taking over? Are you like,
I think once I have an idea in my head, like I won't be able to stop until it's completed. It kind of gives me a sense of purpose is too dramatic, but I'm like, this is sort of the only thing that I really feel like I can do, even if I can't do it well. Like that's my personal problem. But
I
like
think
I
you
was
do it
made
exceptionally well.
thanks, check. I was made redundant from my job last year in it was August 2019. And here's the thing, like it was a great job, it was a great place to work, everyone was so sound, the pay was fine, but I would get into work and be like, I can't do this. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. And even if the task is straightforward, my brain's just like, no, we're not doing that today. It's just not gonna happen. And I would find myself in an absolute flap and a panic. And now whenever I have a project to do, I'm like, well, I get to do this on my terms and I get to decide how it's going to go and how it's going to look. And then if anything goes wrong, I don't have anyone to answer to but myself. I don't have to go into the boardroom and explain why, I don't know, the stock market crashed. I'm like, well, what's that have to do with me? Like, I don't know, sorry. Like, I don't know why sales weren't up, people weren't buying. It's not my fault. I'm sorry. And it would just put me in a real tailspin. But I'm like, this is just something that I can control and it's something I can do. And then the thing is as well is that if I put it out into the world and I get even one DM or someone's like, I thought that was nice, I'm like, yeah. Yeah, so I think lockdown it's been sort of a weird one. Like I moved in with my boyfriend as soon as lockdown was announced. And he's working from home. He's like a normal adult who can like function and do a normal job, so good for him. Um but I would like set up little scenes and I was like, oh, like can I borrow you and can we do this? And I sort of was setting up little scenes with him and just posting them on Instagram throughout. And it was more just as something to keep my mind active as well. Because I don't know like when I'm gonna be able to work with clients again. Obviously all my weddings this year all got cancelled. So I was like, yeah, I just want to know that I can still be productive in my own way.
Yeah. No, that is just so true. Getting to have the power and agency as an artist.
Agency.
Yeah, it's all about the agency. I suppose, will we take a look at the exhibition, do you think, Stephen? Oh, technology. Vanessa filmed this for us because she's amazing.
Do you want me to share it? Will I share it from here?
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, you work away because I'll mess it up.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
I'll also link to just big shout out to Vanessa for filming this.
It's actually really great.
I'm so excited.
Okay, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear it okay.
So hello and welcome to my exhibition, zoning exhibition at home. A very surreal type of situation, but here we all are. I wanted to open with this set here from Pinkalay. It was inspired sort of by the song called Pinkalay, and it is a great song. It has a sample of thanks, Heidi. It has a sample from a traditional Nigerian song, or kind of more old school style Nigerian song that has been remixed into a UK grime type track, but with I think it's Yoruba language vocals over it, and it's just a fantastic mashup of old Nigeria, new London, and it really made me kind of think of my sort of identity, if you like, as this first generation Irish child, Western born child, whatever way you want whatever way you want to put it, and how we hold on to our own identity while being this Irish kid, Northern Irish kid in this case. The model here, Samuel, is a gorgeous fella, and I had him wearing one of the ivory masks that I stole from my dad's house, and we just rode around on the bus with it, and this is the vibe. I guess the other sort of big thing that I kind of wanted to try to express was this never-ending question of like, so where are you from? And it's like, do I actually just look like this? Like, and it's the mask. The thing is, the mask is gorgeous, and where I'm from, if you like, where my parents are from, or my dad is from, where our heritage lies, is a gorgeous place as well. But I don't want that to be my sole identifier. I just want to be able to sit on the bus in peace without being accosted and interrogated about whether or not I have my papers or whatever it is. So yeah, it was a little bit of this dual identity and a little bit of this constant, where are you from? But where are you from? But where are you from? And oh, isn't he so good looking? I certainly don't mind telling you where I'm from, but if the first and really only thing that you want to know about me is my ethnic heritage, it's more of an interrogation than a conversation, and I'm disinclined to discuss. So yeah, this is Pinkalay 1, 2, and 3, and we're just going to go straight into After All right up here. I only have 2 prints from After All, as one of them sold, so good for me. This was the first shoot that I did, and at the time I had asked this lovely girl, Dervla, if she would be the model for my interpretation of this really, really beautiful, soulful song, After All, and the song just sounds like exactly what she looks like. It's pink and peachy and soft and warm, and she has these really, really gorgeous eyes. Like, they're, oh my goodness, it's just gorgeous. This was my first time that I had ever met her, and now we're actually best friends, which is kind of hilarious. First time we ever met, I had DM'd her, as I had DM'd everyone who participated as a model in this project on Twitter, and was like, can I photograph you for something? And she fortunately said yes and didn't block me, like Samuel as well, his good self. All 9 people that I asked all said yes, so I got my first choices for everything, which is very, very, very lucky and very fortunate. But yeah, this is After All. It was just a song that I thought was really, really beautiful, and I thought that she really had the look, you know? She had the look. This series is of a very, very beautiful Brazilian model called Jose. He has actually since moved to Portugal with his wife, and this is based off of a song by Sampha called Blood on Me. And what I kind of really wanted to do with this was, it was kind of my expression of the Black Lives Matter protests as they first happened back in 2016. At that point, I was actually living in Osaka, Japan, and we were having marches there in Japan as well. But at that time, I suffered so badly with social anxiety that I actually couldn't even go. I couldn't leave the house to go. So I was sort of limited to, you know, just being online, sharing, talking about stuff, as much as many, many other people were. But I kind of felt this kind of strange sense of guilt, almost, that I couldn't actually really go out and do anything and make my voice heard, because at this point I was too scared to really even go further than 5 subway stops away for any purpose at all. So this was, I guess, my expression of, Black masculinity. This idea that it's always hard and always tough and intimidating and threatening, which is quite obviously not the case. And then this absolutely angelic human being Jose, who's just a big teddy bear, and he's absolutely lovely, and I thought he was like the perfect model for this. And also he's gorgeous, so that was fun too. And we shot this just at the park in Dublin. He was climbing trees and doing all sorts. I actually climbed a tree as well, which is fine to get up, but I can't get back down again, and he had to help me. Dear love him. So that's Blood on Me. 1, 2, 3. The next series is Never Let Me Go. It's probably my favourite Florence and the Machine song, and this features the very, very gorgeous Caroline. And I went up to Enniskillen to photograph her. She is a really, really phenomenal woman, and I really got to know her actually from her own bravery in speaking about her struggles with mental health, chronic illness, and relationship abuse. And I guess maybe poetically, maybe depressingly, I was like, you would be perfect for this. And how I want to express my feelings about this song, and how the song makes me feel. And so we went to a kind of little forest park near where she lives, and she was very, very sound and let herself get stung by nettles. Dear lover, in a very, very gothy looking black dress. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous character, and she has like a really, really beautiful, really emotive face, which I love. And this is probably one of my favorite pictures from the whole project. Was her lying in what I didn't realize at the time were nettles, and when she got up she was all stung again. But I kind of wanted to recreate this sort of Ophelia type vibe with her in these nettles. God love her. So yeah, that was Never Let Me Go. And the light just doesn't want to work, but you know what? That's what happens when you have an exhibition from home. Say bye. Bye. She's rude. Okay, let's move on. These 3 images are of a very, very talented and incredibly sound Dublin-based rapper called Mango. He works with a producer called Mathman, and he was one of the other 9 people I had DM'd to ask if they would participate, and he very, very kindly said yes. So for this one I used a track called Tribe, which I just really thought matched his general vibe, and I do think he nailed it. He has a really, really great energy, and he's just an incredibly sound individual. We actually caught this picture just sort of, he was just staring at something, and I caught the image. A very, very photogenic individual, which is lucky for some. But yes, this wasn't really based on anything in particular like some of the other ones are. It was just that I really, really liked this song and had it quite severely embedded in my head, so I really wanted to include it in the project. And then I was very fortunate to be able to work with Mr. Mango himself, and I think it turned out quite well. So I'm gonna wrap up with these few sort of offcuts left. I wasn't able to display everything because, well, some of the pieces have gone and sold, a few of them have, and the other main reason being that I don't actually have enough wall space. But this is the general idea of the project. I chose 10 songs that I sort of built my little daydream world around out of many, many thousands, and 10 people, one being of course a self-portrait, and then 9 very, very sound strangers who all agreed to help me out with it, which was really, really lovely. This first one I'll go through is a self-portrait series of Jam Jam, which is a K-pop song. And it's a really, really sweet, like this girl IU has this really, really high, really sweet voice, but it's like the song itself is very sensual, I just really like adored it. And I think a big thing for me with certainly with this series, of which there had been 3, was sort of an expression of my own sexuality again, after sort of feeling a bit robbed by it for many years after some traumatic events. And I really wanted a moment to express that and sort of enjoy myself and allow myself to enjoy and own my own body again. And I had built this flower wall behind me that took way too long and far too much money, but I think it was worth it. I like how it came out anyway. This one is a absolutely gorgeous girl, Nicola. She's from Lurgan, just an absolute beauty. And we shot her 3 series in the Duke of York in Belfast, which I actually just found out today is closing because of COVID, which is so sad. They were lovely in there and let us come in and photograph. We were there for a good while, but I think we probably could have stayed there all day, and they were just like, yeah, you're grand, whatever. But Nicola has this really, like, without even trying, without any type of effort, is just such a sexually attractive young woman, and I'm like, damn, I wish that was me. Good for you. I love that for her. She's just fabulous looking, and she has really interesting and really striking features. And I was like, yeah, definitely need to get you down in like a little leotard type thing. And I think she absolutely nailed it. This series here was actually one of my favorite series overall, between this and Pinkalay, were 2 of my very most favorites. And I think that because they were quite personal to me in terms of identity. This was a song, Iskaba, which is a Nigerian banger, and it's so much fun. And this skirt I had actually made myself while I was living in Japan. I sort of gained the confidence, if you like, to be proudly Nigerian in a way that I didn't feel that I could when I was growing up in Northern Ireland. And so I started making clothes haphazardly, but you know, they're wearable enough, from Ankara fabric that my dad had brought me whenever he went and visited Nigeria, maybe 2014, 2015. And I was like, yeah, this is amazing. Like, I can walk around in these really bright, colorful, like openly, plainly, obviously African clothes through the streets of Osaka, and I'm not getting any abuse. Love that for me. So following on from that, then I felt like I was really able to enjoy it and explore it in a way that I wasn't able to as a teenager and in my very early 20s. So I really wanted to kind of celebrate that with these 3. I only have the one left, the other 2 sold, but I love this picture so much. And this last one is this model's name is Favour, and she's in Dublin. I think she might still be working as a model. I hope she is anyway, because she's gorgeous. And this last one is Orla, who's also a Dubliner. And this was basically, I had watched this K-pop video of some brand new girl group, and I was absolutely struck with this music video for this song, Eclipse. Kind of, you know, like simple enough styling, white and red, a little bit of black, and loads of red lighting, and it was just fantastic to watch, and I really just got suckered in by it. And it sort of went on loop in my mind for months and months and months. So I kind of wanted to recreate the colouring and the lines. Orla is a fantastic mover. We had her in the museum just flinging and throwing shapes, and she wasn't the least bit shy about it, so fair play to yourself. But I really like how this came out, and I think she's she's fab. She does not work as a model, but I think that she should, because she'd be very good at it. And that's pretty much it. That's my little exhibition at home for Zone In. All of the images and the actual track list of all of the songs are actually listed on my website under About Zone In, if you felt the need to play the songs and look at the pictures and see if it makes any sense in your mind. And maybe it will, maybe it won't, I don't know. But thanks very much for joining me on the tour.
Oh my days, that's so good. That's the first time I've seen that. Oh my god. I think Vanessa's just shown like, yeah, we can do it. We can do heritage from home. We can do it, yeah. More exhibitions from Vanessa's gaff. I think like somebody said, also, yeah, guys, feel free to use the chat and throw in stuff, because we're all reading through it, and like,
yeah.
And like people were chatting about the dogs, that like more dogs in galleries. You know? Everyone was, as is expected, singing the amazing praises. I love the IU stands from Maeve, yes.
Love IU, love it. She's the best.
Come on, Maeve.
This is exactly what we wanted. We wanted people to be like, yeah, I feel together in standing things and feeling posy on things. That's so cool. I actually had a really similar question to Georgia, where I think when I first asked you about this, I was wondering about revisiting this exhibition and how that would feel, I guess.
Yeah.
For you. And I guess I was wondering what it feels like now as you looking back on it. And I think Georgia in particular wanted to know if you feel like that person you were when you daydreamed is behind you.
That's actually a really good question. When it popped up, I was like, oh.
I know, I was like, whoa. Good question.
It was a funny one as well, because for years, like, I was too scared. Even by the time I realized, like, I need to be on antidepressants, I was far too scared to even consider it, because I was like, I felt like this since I was a tiny child. Like, I don't have, I think, a memory of me being like, yes, I'm sorted with life. And I thought, like, I remember talking to my sister on the phone when I was living overseas, and I was like, what if I go on antidepressants and the person that I actually am under the depression, like, I don't like her, or I don't know her. And it really, really terrified me. It was like the stigma of it, and then the fear of, like, I don't know who I am without depression. And so now I've actually been off antidepressants for about a year. And I have been doing really, really well. I have like a couple of like blips here and there, but I have a good support network around me. My mom lives close by. My boyfriend's in the other room. For like, sometimes I start crying. I'm like, what? And then, you know what? It's fine. But when I kind of think about that girl with the daydreams, like, sometimes, like, I won't even lie, sometimes I do miss it, because I'm like, at least when that was happening, I could always control the situation. Like, I didn't have the fear of this, that, and the other. But I'm like, basically, I feel like I'm basically that same person, except now I'm taking the risks to become the person that I was daydreaming I could be, if that makes sense. Like, I'm in a great relationship, which is something that I never thought that I could. So I would just imagine one, because I didn't think that I was worth it, or that I deserved having it in real life. And now I do have it, or I can have it. Like, I wouldn't have been able to take care of a dog. It just wouldn't have happened. Like, I could have gone like all day without eating, because I would have just forgotten to eat, because I was in a restaurant in the daydream, and then it'll be 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh Jesus, I'm starving, and then run to the 24-hour McDonald's. Like, I didn't eat vegetables. Do you know what I mean? So it's like all this kind of thing. So I think it's pretty much that I'm the same person. It's just that I'm actually doing it in real life. Does that make sense?
You're living the dream.
Next exhibition, living the dream. Sorted. Done. That was great.
Well, I think it's beautiful what you're saying about recovery, you know, and like, there are times that you'll still like cry, like, and there's still times like, but it's all about those small wins. I'm eating vegetables. I ate 3 meals today.
I did.
I, didn't live off coffee for, X amount of time. Because I think that's beautiful. And I think that's something people are moving more towards now, is very much like recovery and every small victory. Exactly. I think it's beautiful that you're at the point, where you can take care of an animal. Like it's so true. Stuff like that is hard. Like
this is it.
And it's
like a lot of the big panic I have is I've been thinking more and more about, like, before it was always like, I'm gonna have children. That's just the thing that you do. You're just gonna have kids. And now I'm like, oh God, what if I can't? What if I can't take care of a child? What if I forget to feed the child? And the thing is that so that would be like a big source of anxiety now, and sometimes it'll like pop up and I'll come in the room to Terry crying and be like, what if we can't have a child? He's like, what? Why are you, like, who cares? Like, doesn't matter. Like, if we can't have a child, we can't have a child. It's all good. But it's sort of learning to get a grip and being like, I can take care of a dog now that I couldn't have took care of a goldfish 4 years ago. So give me another 4 years and maybe, but also maybe not.
Yeah, but it's so true. All these like anxieties about like what you're meant, like things that you think you can't do, not even that you think you can't do, but I was in a meeting recently and I was talking about why supports bridge the gap for people that need that gap bridged, like, and why you should never feel guilty about taking those supports, because it's like, like, I don't think everybody has, people do get anxious about, like, say, having kids and stuff, but I've had the exact same feeling where I've been like, I can't feed myself. Yeah. I'm like barely, Steve and I were joking that we're the Bandjacks team, like, it's like Bandjacks team, super strong.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is, but it's interesting because whenever you voice those concerns, as you're saying, and you hear somebody else giving back to you, you're like, actually, it is okay. Or it's like, I think your choice to voice the concerns is something I'm going to really take into my weekend. Because it is, I think that's another thing I'm really taking from your exhibition is like, you went from this solitary into taking pictures of other people and interacting, and you made your best friend. You were taking pictures of loads of people that I consider friends. Like, so art's like a community for you, I guess.
Pretty much. Like, the people, I think if I didn't have photography, my life would be completely different now. Like, most people that I meet and have any type of friendly relationship with, I've met in some degree through photography, or that I took pictures with Dervla and then she introduced me to Sai and Aoife, and now they're my friends too. But I wouldn't know them if I didn't know Dervla, and I wouldn't know Dervla if I hadn't taken her picture. It's this kind of thing. Like, photography, especially like when I was incredibly anxious before, when I first started just as a hobby, I was using my camera basically as an excuse to try to make myself talk to people. And even if I wasn't able to travel far, I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to go around the neighborhood and I'm going to approach one person tonight and ask if I can take their picture. And then the thing is that if the person turns around and they're like, no, it's like, oh, it's just that they don't like getting their picture taken. It's not that they don't like me. In that kind of way. Like, I use the camera as like my buffer between me and the outside world. And that was how I got so into it. But yeah, like, I think it's just a lot of, over the past couple of years, it's been like deciding for myself, like, what do I want and what do I want to do, and that I don't actually need to hit all of these milestones. Like, the thought before of like being made redundant, and I would immediately go on and find another job, and I was like, wait, hold on, let me see if I can manage myself as a freelancer, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and I'll go back to the day job. But knowing that this is something that's much better for my mental health, even if it's not the best thing for me financially. It's like it's made the world a difference, and I wouldn't have been able to come off my antidepressants, I don't think, if I was still doing a regular like 9 to 5 Excel sheet thing, because I'm not good at that. I'm not good at that one bit.
Yeah, but that's so funny that the art has, I think that was something Stephen and I were talking about. The art helps you in such a way that you felt strong enough then to, you know, try other methods other than medication. Like, that's crazy. That shows how powerful being happy in what you're doing. You know, that's so cool. I suppose, and also everyone, because I think we're, if I'm correct, I think we're wrapping up our convo in the next like 10 minutes, but I suppose I just have 2 questions. So if anybody else has questions, please throw them in the chat. Because my voice is very grating. Like, there's 2 things I suppose I wanted to say. One thing I think that's really cool about Vanessa is like, I think you like as somebody who has different, like, I don't like to use the word neurodivergent, but I actually think it's like the nicest term. That's why I felt, and why a lot of people I think feel very comfortable around Vanessa. So I think like there's like sorry, my brain is so fluffy today, but what I'm trying to say is like, I used to think because I was mentally ill or neurodivergent, it made me a worse artist. But actually there's a lot of people that feel more comfortable working with me and stuff because they know that I will understand where they're coming from as maybe a fellow neurodivergent artist. So I don't know if that makes any sense. But I suppose I was going to ask in relation to that, do you have like boundaries and like ways of running your freelancing that you recommend for like people who are a little bit neurodivergent?
I think the big thing that I would say to anyone, neurodivergent or otherwise, is just say yes. Because there's been so many different things that I've been asked to do or offered to do, and my immediate reaction has been like, no, but I can recommend someone else who can do it because I just don't think I'm capable, or the anxiety level is too high. I'm sitting thinking like, no, I'm not qualified to do that, or I don't have the skill to do that. But they've asked you for a reason. If they thought your skill level wasn't there, they literally would not have asked you. And it's so hard to ignore the anxiety or the imposter syndrome or whatever it is. But just say yes and just do it. Says me, who like still says no. But now what I do is whenever I get the email, I read through it, and then I will ignore it for 3 days and then come back and say yes. Because if I reply immediately, I know that I'll just immediately type, oh, I'm so busy, I'm sorry. And it'll just be a complete lie. I'll just be like, oh, broke my leg, so can't do it, sorry. Just from the fear. But yeah, I think my biggest thing is just, I don't feel like I'm capable or that I deserve the shot. I'm like, this person here has been doing it for 5 years longer than me. You should ask them instead. Like, they know that they exist. They asked me.
That's such a good way of thinking about it. They know they exist, and I'm writing that down. I'll post that later. Because I think that's something I assume everybody in this call can relate to, no matter what. Like, very like that, and I know imposter syndrome is a big, like, everybody tweets about it on Twitter, but it's a very real thing. Very real thing, for sure. So just say yes, no matter the anxiety. That's good. Do it.
I want to say, Georgia here has asked about finances. Do you know what? I won't even lie. Like, I was, I think, particularly lucky as well. I had moved from Dublin back up to Belfast, which is so much cheaper. But also, whenever I started my job in Belfast, I was able to live rent-free with my mum for 6 months. and scraped the money together for a deposit, and I bought my house. Sale closed 24th of June, and I got made redundant on the 19th of August. So that was, yeah. But I had a spare room in the house, and I put my spare room on Airbnb, and then worked on the little freelance odd jobs basically from September onwards. So it was a real, like, it was tight, but I had the ability, like I had an extra like 150 quid a month maybe from Airbnb, and then I would make up the other like 300-400 pound from photography jobs, at least at the start. Like, that was it. By the time it got to November, December, I had started OnlyFans. Yeah. So subscribe, by the way, everybody. No, I'm joking. I basically started my OnlyFans at the end of November, I think, because I think all my jobs for November all got like postponed until the new year. And then in the new year, I started doing more jobs again around January, February, and then everything closed down again for COVID. So that, like, if I didn't have the OnlyFans, like, I would be in big trouble. And it's kind of funny now in a way, because whenever I started it in yes, I'll drop my social media here. Whenever I started OnlyFans in December 2019, I was mortified, and I was like, oh, so many people are going to judge me, and like all of the jobs that I had, they're all going to cancel because they're going to be like, oh, she's gross. I was really, really terrified about it and so anxious about it. And then by the time you got to like April 2020, everyone and their granny had an OnlyFans, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, well, then I'm going to start advertising this more now because everyone's doing it. But yeah, like the financial side of it is tough. Like, I will not lie one bit, but I think between the spare room situation, a couple of jobs here and there, and then OnlyFans was sort of how I was able to keep it afloat. And I'm hoping that by the time COVID has sort of wrapped itself up, I will be reasonably well known enough that I can sustain myself just on regular photography. But for now, yeah, that's what we're doing.
Actually, continue, Georgia.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask, would you say it's been worth it? Like all the shit that you've had to do to be like self-sufficient now as an artist, is it all worth it?
Hell yeah, 100%. Yeah. I would do it any day of the week again. Like, I don't even mind, you know what I mean? Like, if somebody wants to, nobody has, like, everyone's been signed, but if somebody wanted to be like, you show your boobs on the internet, I'd be like, yeah, okay, so what? And it's at the cost basically of, I could have a nice respectable job and come home and just cry or just lie in bed catatonic, or I can do this and be in full control of myself, my decisions, and have the time I need to decompress or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I'd say it's worth it.
Feel strong and independent at the same time.
Very much. Like,
yeah, it's amazing that you've had that the means to do that.
Yeah, I have been very fortunate.
Yeah, class. Thank you.
Fortunate, but a lot of grit and determination, Vanessa. I would also give you a lot of kudos for that. And there's a wee question here as well about, have you ever felt intimidated by others' success? I feel that holds me back sometimes. I feel I can't achieve what others can achieve. Then, as I have a lower budget and zero confidence, this is something I very relate to. Yeah.
Do you know, I don't really. Like, whenever I say, like, there's photographers that I follow, Irish photographers, American photographers, whoever, and when I see them doing really great stuff, I'm just like, oh, that's so good. That would be so nice. Like, that's excellent. Like, I don't really, and I think it's probably sort of ironic in its own way that I just have no expectation. Like, I don't, like, that's kind of what, going back to what we were saying at the start, like, I don't think of myself as an artist. I'm just like someone who really likes taking pictures, and then sometimes people email me and goes, can you shoot the cover of this magazine? And I'm like, why would you ask me of all people? Wouldn't you ask so and so with the track record of success? So I kind of go in with zero expectation, and then anything I get offered, I'm like surprised and delighted for myself. But no, I don't really at all. I think I feel more intimidated by people's expectations of me to be able to do the thing. Whenever I see other people's successes, I'm like, I know that it's one of those things that's so much easier said than done, but it's more like just look at it and think, what can I learn from how this person has done this? Have they taken maybe better pictures? Do they have a network? Like, networking is something I cannot do because I just get far too anxious. You know what I mean? Yeah, these like networking drink things and all this. Like,
Yeah.
I'd actually like rather eat my own teeth. It's terrifying. But like I will like contact photographers and stuff that I admire and be like, this is amazing. Like, how did you set this up? And if they answer, and you've learned a new skill. If they don't, they're an arsehole. It's fine. No, I can't be intimidated because I have no expectations.
That's such a good way of looking at it. I also read this as just being intimidated by others and not even their successes. I'm just intimidated by others in general.
Just in general, yeah.
I'm just like, oh, you want to know what my name is? Oh, yeah. I don't know. But I think that's like, and I think, yeah, there's always like, I know there's always that image of like the struggling artist, zero budget, and like I think, like it's not that. I think what you're getting at is the healthier version of it. I love doing this. What am I doing it for? How is it helping me? How can these people help me? I am worth getting like working on, and I am worth continuing and learning with me. Yeah. Me is good. I think we're coming up to the hour, which is like, I feel like that's sped by.
Oh, Jesus. That's what it is.
I know, that's mad. I hope everyone's really enjoyed that. I honestly just love hearing Vanessa talk. I think she's the loveliest. It's been very good. But yeah, I threw a link into Zone In, and I also we'll get Vanessa's socials, and and if you have any questions, we have the Slack as well, and this will be available to watch later. And yeah, that seems good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Feel like I can do things. I can go outside.
A mask, but you can go outside.
Wear a mask. I'll wear a mask. I'm very excited.